There is a science of getting rich for women solopreneurs, and it is an exact science, like algebra or arithmetic. There are certain laws that govern the process of acquiring riches. Once these laws are learned and obeyed, any woman will have the tools to create wealth with mathematical certainty. The ownership of money and property comes as a result of doing things in a certain way. Those who do things in this certain way, whether on purpose or accidentally, get rich, while those who do not do things in this certain way, no matter how hard they work or how capable they are, remain poor. It is a natural law that like causes always produce like effects, and therefore any woman who learns to do things in this certain way will infallibly get rich. That the above statement is true is shown by the following facts. Creating wealth is not a matter of environment, for if it were, all the solopreneurs in certain neighborhoods would become wealthy. The women solopreneurs of one city would be all wealthy, while those of other towns would all be poor. Or the women solopreneurs of one state would roll in wealth, while those of an adjoining state would be in poverty. Have you noticed that just about any place you look, you see wealthy and poor living side by side in the same environment and often engaged in the same business? When two women solopreneurs are in the same locality and in the same business, and one gets wealthy while the other remains poor, it shows that creating wealth is not primarily a matter of environment. Some environments may be more favorable than others, but when two women solopreneurs in the same business are in the same neighborhood and one gets wealthy while the other fails, it indicates that creating wealth is a result of doing things in a certain way. And further, the ability to do things in this certain way is not solely due to the possession of talent. For many women solopreneurs who have great talent remain poor, while others who have very little talent get rich. Studying the lives and careers of women who have gotten rich, we find that they are an average lot in all respects, having no greater talents and abilities than other women. It is evident that they do not create wealth because they possess talents and abilities that other women have not, but because they happen to do things in a certain way. Getting rich is not the result of saving or thrift, nor is getting rich due to doing things which others fail to do. For two women in the same business often do almost exactly the same things, and one gets wealthy while the other remains poor or becomes bankrupt. From all these things, the obvious conclusion is that creating wealth is the result of doing things in a certain way. If getting rich is the result of doing things in a certain way, and if like causes always produce like effects, then any woman who can do things in that way can become wealthy, and the whole matter is brought within the domain of exact science. So the question you may be wondering is if this certain way is so difficult that only a few women will be able to successfully follow it. This is not proven to be true, so far as natural ability is concerned. Talented women create wealth, and dim-witted women create wealth. Intellectually brilliant women create wealth, and unintelligent women create wealth. Physically strong women create wealth, and weak and sickly women create wealth. Some degree of ability to think and understand is, of course, essential. But as far as natural ability is concerned, any woman who has sense enough to listen, read, and understand these words can certainly get rich. Also, we have seen that it is not a matter of environment. Location counts for something. One would not go to the heart of the Sahara Desert and expect to do successful business selling sand. Creating wealth involves the necessity of dealing with men and women, and of being where there are people to deal with. And if these people are inclined to deal in the way you want to deal, so much the better. But that is about as far as environment goes. If any other woman in your town can get rich, so can you. And if any other woman in your state can get rich, so can you. Again, it is not a matter of choosing some particular business or profession. Women create wealth in every business and in every profession, while their next-door neighbors in the same business can't seem to make ends meet. It is true that you will do best in a business that you like and which is agreeable to you. And if you have certain talents that are well developed, you will do best in a business that calls for the use of those talents. Also, you will do best in a business that is suited to your location. An ice cream parlor would do better in a warm climate. But aside from these general limitations, creating wealth is not dependent on your engaging in some particular business, but on your learning to do things in a certain way. If you are now in a service business and any other woman in your city is creating wealth in the same business, While you are not creating wealth, it is because you are not doing things in the same way that the woman is doing them. No woman is prevented from creating wealth by lack of capital. True, as you get capital, growth becomes faster and easier. But a woman who has capital is already wealthy and does not need to consider how to become so. No matter how poor you may be, if you begin to do things in a certain way, you will begin to get rich and you will begin to have capital. The getting of capital is part of the process of creating wealth, and it is part of the result that invariably follows the doing of things in the certain way. You may be the poorest woman solopreneur on the continent and be deeply in debt. You may lack friends, influence, and resources. But if you begin to do things in this way, you must infallibly begin to get rich, for like causes must produce like effects. If you have no capital, you can get capital. If you are in the wrong business, you can get into the right business. If you're in the wrong location, you can go to the right location. And you can do so by beginning in your present business and in your present location to do things in the certain way which causes success.